guys, I'm here with successful investor Wang. Ryan, can you please introduce yourself a little bit?
Sure. Hi guys, my name is Ryan. I'm an investor from CRI Ventures. We are a pretty new venture fund here based in Palo Alto. So we've been around for a year. Right now we have 6 people, over 30 companies have been invested. Half of our portfolio are in healthcare, and the other half is more of a diversified portfolio. For me, my primary sectors are frontier technology, so things like virtual reality, augmented reality, artificial intelligence, also fintech, things like P2P lending or bitcoins.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for joining us here. I'm really happy to have you on SV House.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. My first question is, have you noticed any patterns or differences of startup founders coming from like outside of Silicon Valley,
Right.
maybe from Europe or Canada or Latin America?
Yeah, of course. For me, most of the startup that I talk to are U.S. startups and Chinese startups, right? Startup in Asia. So I do find there are a lot of difference if we compare entrepreneurs from Asia versus entrepreneurs here in the Valley, right? I feel like entrepreneurs in the Valley are more technology driven. So all their startup ideas, most of their startup ideas are based on certain technology. So they have some technology, and then they will think about how they can utilize this technology to resolve some real world problems.
Okay.
On the other hand, on the Asian market, things are different. People are not very technology driven. People are more like market driven. So entrepreneurs in Asian market, they will think about, hey, what kind of problem it needs to be resolved, right? And then they think about, hey, what kind of technologies do we have to resolve this kind of problem? So I think, it's one side is technology and the other side is business.
Okay.
So here in Silicon Valley, everyone's talking about tech, so people are kind of like naturally tech driven.
Wow.
But people in Asia, people are like always finding what's the next opportunity before they think about, hey, what's a cool technology. So wow. People will find the opportunity first before they think about what kind of technology can be applied to these kind of opportunities.
Okay, wow, amazing. And so for founders who are overseas and are looking to come here for 1 month or 3 months, what do you think they can accomplish in their time here?
I think definitely, especially founders from Asia, right? Here in Silicon Valley, first of all, the ecosystem, right? The whole startup and investment ecosystem is you can't find it anywhere else in the world, right?
Wow.
So definitely, if you're an entrepreneur, you get a chance to meet a lot of top-notch investors. And if you are an investor, you can meet the top-notch entrepreneurs as well, right? So basically, the whole ecosystem here is much more active, and the liquidity is more. Everything is much more liquid and flying much more faster up here.
Wow.
So I think all the entrepreneurs from the world, they should find chances to come over here. To stay for a month or two, just to give it a shot and see what can they achieve up
Okay,
here.
amazing.
Right,
and so then, what would be your advice to those founders, on how to take advantage of their time here?
Right, definitely meet as many people as possible.
Okay.
I would say that visit Sand Hill Road and do a lot of networking. Set up one-on-one meetings with the investors. No matter whether you are ready to pitch to investors, or you just have a brief idea, you haven't figured everything out, or you wasn't really ready to pitch to the investors, right?
Yeah.
Talk about your ideas. Share your ideas to people around you. People here are very tech savvy, and they are very business savvy as well. So it's okay to talk your ideas when it's not ready, because sometimes by sharing the ideas and having the conversation, people are able to offer you better ideas, and people are able to offer ideas that can make your business better. So
wow.
I think no matter you are ready or not, definitely don't be afraid. Just do as many communications as possible and meet as many people as possible, you will always find that valuable. Even not like right now, but you can see that the network and the communications will be valuable sometime in the future.
Okay.
Right.
Amazing.
Right.
And so, on the similar note, what would be like the biggest pitfalls to avoid for founders coming here? Like, what should they not be doing?
Well, I think first of all, you should not have a tourist mindset. You when you are here, because people in the valley are coming like all over the world, right? Don't treat yourself as a foreigner, right?
Okay.
Don't think of yourself as a foreigner, because we are all foreigners.
Amazing.
America is an immigration country, right? It's just the difference is just whether you are the first generation or you are the second generation, or you are just coming here for a couple of months, right?
Totally.
But definitely, here people are very open-minded, and you should not treat yourself as a foreigner, or you should not treat yourself as someone different.
Okay.
Everyone's different, right?
Totally.
So I think, first of all, when you come here, have the mindset that, hey, I'm going to be part of this society. I'm going to be part of this group, part of this community, right? And having this mindset, and then go out talk to people, and you're surprised what do you find at the end.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And so for founders just coming here,
right,
looking to receive funding, what would be like a rough timeline to be able to secure funding?
Well, it depends, right? I think it's more like a case-to-case scenario.
Okay.
So for some companies that's a little bit mature, maybe the timeline would be faster.
Okay.
And for people who just have a rough idea, hasn't pulled a team together, haven't established a very good business logic in terms of how to go to market, what their business model is, haven't done enough research on the market, it might take a lot longer, right?
Okay.
I think the key thing is you got to do the right thing at the right time, right? Some people, I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs. Obviously, when they think they are ready for fundraising, they are not, right? They haven't assembled a good team. They haven't figured out what business model they want to implement. They just have this idea, and they just heard a lot of successful stories on TechCrunch and on the news, and they think, hey, I'm ready. If the other people can do that, I can do that as well. So I have an idea. I just go out there, risk some money. But the water is pretty deep, right? No matter you are in healthcare, no matter you are in frontier technology, no matter you are in mobile applications, like all the opportunities right now, the water is pretty deep. So when you first dive into this deep water, be prepared. Do a lot of research and do a lot of homework before you reach to the point of saying, hey, I'm here to raise money, right? And same thing when they approach investors. Don't always try to pitch to investors every time when you meet them. Try just have a random conversation with them. Get to know the investors, get to know the potential investors, right? And understand what kind of investors they are. Some of the investors, they invest in early stage, and there are investors invest in late stage, and different investors have different sectors. For me, I'm in the frontier technology sector, so people who create the new mobile phone, when they come to pitch to me, directly, I will be like, hey, this is not my sector. Your idea sounds brilliant, but there's nothing I can do about it. So I think everything is about relationship, right? I think even if you are networking with investors who's not directly in your sector, he has a lot of connections and resources. If you guys can be friends, right? He can always make a lot of valuable reference to the entrepreneurs for them to continue their fundraising process. Right.
Amazing. And so there's a lot of talk about how winter is coming in the investment bubble.
Right.
So if the investment bubble does burst, how would that change the Silicon Valley environment?
I think this is a really good question. So we've been talking about bubble for quite a long time, right? And right now, I think Many people ask questions like, "Do you think we have a bubble or not?" Right?
Yeah.
I think this is not the question to ask. The right question to ask is not whether the bubble exists or not, because I firmly believe that we are in a bubble.
Oh wow.
The right question is when the bubble will break.
Okay.
Right? Is it gonna break in the next 2 years, or is it gonna break in the next 5 years, or is it gonna break in the next 10 years? Different scenario will lead to a different result, right? So I think in the case of a bubble finally break, definitely this market will kind of like run out of liquidity, and for entrepreneurs, they will find it's much more to risk money at that point, and for investors, they will be much more cautious when they make investment.
Okay.
So I think when the bubble breaks, the startups with really good business plan and with solid product and a great team to do the execution, will still survive the downside of the economy. But I think when the bubble breaks, definitely the whole ecosystem will slow down a little bit. But that being said, that doesn't mean it's a bad thing, right? Sometimes it's a good thing when the bubble is break, because when there are huge bubble on the market, people will make irrational actions. Sorry.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Right. Having the bubble break sometimes is kind of like drag people back to real life and have people to really stop their work and think whether what they are doing is really meaningful or what they are doing is really make a lot of sense. I see a lot of startups, they don't have a valid, they don't have a solid product, they don't have a solid business plan. They just go out there, try to raise money, and just play with the investor money, do some gambling, and I don't mean like directly gambling, but do something that has huge risk while not let the investor realize the potential risk in their business. So I think these kind of actions is irrational actions, and having the bubble break will give people a chance to really think about these kind of things, and to look back and to try to understand everything.
Oh wow,
right.
Amazing.
Right.
And so you already touched on this, telling founders to build relationships with investors such as yourself, but would you add any other like best practices for founders like looking to approach and to pitch to investors?
Yeah, I think don't be too aggressive.
Okay.
Sometimes the investors are not in your sector, but you keep telling your story. That conversation is meaningless, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes when you are telling your story, don't keep on explaining what you want to do. Always ask for feedback.
Okay.
Because investors are talking to 20, 30 entrepreneurs every day.
Yeah.
And they heard a lot of stories, right? But I would say investors meet more entrepreneurs versus entrepreneurs meet the number of investors. So so investors most likely, when you are telling the story to investor, most likely he have heard similar story before. So I think the right way to do is spend 5 minutes, briefly tell your story, and ask for feedback directly. If he's interested or if he's in this sector, right, he will ask for more questions.
Yeah.
He will challenge you, which is a good thing, right? Being asked of challenge questions from investors means that he's interested in you, right? So don't take challenge as a negative thing. Challenge is definitely a positive thing in a conversation. So and don't afraid of challenge, right? So some of the challenge are valid, while some of the challenge are not valid. So when you when the investors does point out some weak points in your business plan, in your whole story, right? Accept it, admit it, and ask this question: hey, if you were me, what you would do to overcome this challenge? What you would do to solve this problem?
Yeah.
So I think this kind of conversation will be much more meaningful. And from the investor's perspective, they think, hey, we are on the same page, right? Both you and me, we admit that this is a weak point in this whole story, so that going forward we can work together to solve this problem.
Yeah,
right.
Totally.
Right. So if a problem is unresolvable, you can always pivot to the other directions. But the point is, you guys are on the same ship, and the relationship has been built.
Yeah.
And going forward, right, you can always keep him in the loop and keep updating him.
Yeah.
And relationship is being built, and you can going forward you can use the resource and connections from the investors.
The investor's not trying to hurt you; he's trying to
right.
both interests in getting your business to succeed.
Exactly. Because investors, they are trying to be helpful, and they are trying to find out the brilliant ideas, trying to find out the next unicorn. So if you firmly believe you are the next unicorn, definitely investors want to be with you. It's just you need to make the process easier for them as well.
Okay, amazing. And second last question. So what key metrics most attract you? Is it growth, traction? Or?
Right. So for my firm, right, we have a investment strategy that we like. First of all, we care about team a lot. So the background of the team, what's a profile of the co-founders look like, whether it look like a strong team or a weak team, whether the team have great synergy with their business or not. So first priority is always the team, the people. Wow. And secondly, we care a lot about the technology. So if certain startups have certain kind of technology which is able to build a strong technology hurdle and to give them a very defensive position in terms of up and downs, that's something we are actively looking for. The other one more thing, especially me personally, I want to understand the business logic of the CEO, of the founders, right? I think every successful entrepreneurs, they must have a very clear business logic. What's right, what's wrong, and how he can take his business, take his idea to the market. How he can take his idea from 10 people to, let's say, 100,000 people, right? So this kind of go-to-market strategy and this kind of business logic, what kind of resource, what things, what to be done at what time, and what kind of execution plan to make it happen. So this kind of things is critical.
Totally.
Right.
And so it's a common motif for founders to come to investors and have this absurd valuations on their companies.
Right.
So how would you advise startups to create a realistic valuation?
Well, to be honest, right now the situation is, let's say I get 20 pitch every day, right? I would say that there's only 1 or 2 companies that I'm interested out of the 20, and out of a week or even a month, right? We only invest in 1 or 2 companies, and honestly speaking, the 1 and 2 companies that we make investment, we feel that it's very highly valued. So from a investor perspective, right, we think that there are not so many good investment opportunities out there. Most of the startups, they are a long way to the point where they are ready to get investment. But for those who we are really interested in, and we think, hey, it's great, right? They are always having absurd valuation. But sometimes you gotta come in when you think it's right.
Yeah.
Most of the time, it doesn't matter whether for this round it's a 7 million cap or a 10 million cap. The 3 million difference, we are fine with it.
Oh,
as long as we think it's a good startup.
Okay.
As long as we believe in their team, believe in their product,
Yeah.
and believe in their strategy to make it happen.
Okay.
So because think about it, we are expecting a 10 time or 20 time return at the end of the day. So whether it's a 7 million valuation or it's
Yeah.
a 10 million valuation,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter so much today. What matters is, will this startup be successful or not?
Yeah.
So we, especially at this stage investment,
Yeah.
valuation don't tell a full story.
Okay.
What really matters is what kind of resource does a startup need? Money is a part of the resource. And in addition to the money, what else can we bring onto the table? How much money do you need to take the startup to the next level? I think these are the right questions to ask, and these need to be answered instead of what's the right valuation.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Totally. And actually, one more question. I'm
Sure.
interested. So, what is your favorite industry to invest in?
As I mentioned, virtual reality is kind of my primary focus at this point, and everyone's talking about virtual reality right now,
Yeah.
and it's about to take off. For me, I am a believer of virtual reality. I think it's definitely gonna take off, but the question is whether it's gonna take off in the next 2 years or in the next 5 years. And right now, for the virtual reality market, investors are kind of delayed their investment because the consumer market is not there yet, but it's about to get there. So investors would like to wait 2-3 more months until the consumer version has been released, so that they get all the numbers, they get all the feedback from the market, and then they have then they will get more confidence when they make investment.
Totally.
Right. So for me, my primary focus is VR and AR,
Okay.
and I'm also covering the artificial intelligence, drones, and fintech sector as well.
So Ryan, what have you learned this past week?
Let me see. What did I do past week? Well, I think again, network is extremely important. So one of my friend, I met him half a year ago. We just had a random conversation, but just a few days ago, I found out that he's a partner from one of the top-notch investors. So definitely, we as investors, we are not only constantly looking for the startups, right? I think the other very important in terms of be the top-notch investor is we need to build relationship with the other VCs as well. Because I would say that half of our investment is introduced by the other VCs instead of we go out there and find out ourselves. So I think a relationship with the other VCs is also critical when you are an investor, when you are in this business.
Amazing.
So definitely talk to anyone.
Yeah.
You can find anyone on the train, anyone in cafe, and you'll get surprised someday.
Great advice. Thank you. Ryan, well, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thanks for having me.
So much. It was amazing to have you.
Yeah, thanks.
All the best.